Right off the bat here at 6 o'clock, listen up for this headline. A serial pee dumper on the loose in Northeast Portland.
Whoever's doing it seems to like Crystal Geyser.
Oh.
We're talking about homeowners in Northeast Portland finding big bottles of pee dumped in their yards, what the city says people should do if they find one on their lawn.
And parents in Multnomah County are fighting back against a proposal that would end the county's preschool for all program. Plus,
with the 16th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Yang Hansen.
So the Grizzlies picked this 7'2" center from China, but after some wheeling and dealing, he's now a trailblazer. More on the very big surprise edition and what else the Blazers did by trading down on last night's draft excursion as KGW News at Sunrise starts right now.
good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Thursday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. I mean, we just read the headlines, but
Yeah.
after hearing us read the headlines, I want to know more about all of these stories, Rod. There is a lot to cover this hour on the show. Of course, we're going to make a little bit of time for weather as well.
You're not wrong, by the way. All those stories do catch your attention. Here's our Wells Fargo camera this morning. And what I am noticing is cloud deck is higher than 24 hours ago. When the cloud deck is higher, you have less of a chance of getting any mist or drizzle falling from it. So that's why I point that out. Trying to see if we can see the rising somewhat, but we're not due to the cloudy skies. 59 is the temperature outside. So a day like yesterday, we'll see if we get any patchy drizzle this morning. Later today, the cloud deck expected to thin out somewhat. If so, we'd get back up to about 70 for a high. Very comfortable weather to be out and about once again on your Thursday.
All right, quick traffic reminder, Rob, before we get to the news headlines. Starting this morning at 9 o'clock, Southwest Durham Road will be closed on the west side of Upper Boones Ferry Road. It's a closure that was supposed to start tomorrow, but again, it's starting today. And that stretch of Durham Road will stay closed until 9 o'clock Monday night while crews work to replace a railroad crossing.
They look like a gallon size.
So residents in Northeast Portland are in a bit of a pickle. Someone is dumping bottles of urine outside their homes, and they say it has been going on for months.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from the newsroom. Thomas, pee, now a big problem in that part of Portland.
Yeah, huge problem up there in Northeast Portland, guys, that nobody really wants to deal with. Right now, that urine is just sitting outside homes around Northeast 70th and Beach. And we're not just talking about a sprinkling of pee here. You just saw it, 6-gallon jugs filled to the brim. We spoke to Jean, who had the misfortune of finding those jugs outside her home. They first showed up on recycling day, she says, when someone added the urine to Jean's bin. Crews took the recycling, but not the pee.
Somebody else said, take it into the house and put it down the drain. I'm not touching that.
Serial peer has been at it since September. So what do you do if you find gallons of whiz outside your front stoop? Well, we put our journalistic chops to the test to find out. First, we checked in with police, who recommend people check security cameras and report anything suspicious. But as for getting rid of urine, Portland police decided to wipe their hands of that job. Instead, Metro has to handle it through something called RID Patrol, which cleans up messes in public spaces. Jean contacted Metro and they're going to handle the problem. But if these golden streams pop up on private property, it gets a little hairy. Metro can't respond to private property, meaning at least in one way, Jean got lucky.
I don't want to touch it. But more importantly, I don't want the guy to come back next week and do the same thing.
Well, makes sense. So if Metro can't respond, they recommend asking your local hauler to take it. If they can't or won't, like it happened in this case, you have just one choice, guys, and you might know where I'm going with this. You're going to have to roll up your sleeves, put on some gloves, dump those gallons of pee yourself, guys.
That's their advice. Okay. All right. Thomas Schultz reporting from the newsroom this morning. All right. Time now is 6:04. Portland police arrested a man accused of throwing Molotov cocktails at a home in Southeast Portland and vandalizing a North Portland boba tea shop. 37-year-old Christian Clarita right there, facing nearly 30 charges ranging from biased crime to criminal mischief. Surveillance video from last week shows the suspects throwing objects through the door of Auntie Ha Boba shop before returning the next day to damage a window. According to detectives, Clarita is also accused of breaking windows last month at an apartment in Southeast Portland.
Admitted to throwing a firebomb at the entryway of the house and left another to show the victim, who he called Chinese people, quote unquote, that he wants to be left alone.
We are too scared to come back to because we are always worrying that he may really use his gun to shoot us.
Prosecutors have asked the judge to keep Clarita in custody while his case plays out. He is scheduled to be back in court next week.
We have an update to a story we covered live yesterday here on Sunrise. 2 armed carjacking suspects are still on the loose after police pulled the plug on their hours-long search in Northeast Portland. So the carjacking took place right around 4 in the morning yesterday in the Hazelwood neighborhood near Northeast 108th and Haslow. Investigators say the suspects only drove a few blocks to Northeast 114th before they got out of the car and ran off. Police issued a shelter in place for that neighborhood, which lasted for hours.
Our neighborhood has changed a lot. My kids used to run in the streets and play outside all the time, but now they've grown up, but I wouldn't want them to be out alone.
Anyone with information about the carjacking or the suspects should contact Portland Police.
With just 4 days left in the Oregon legislative session, lawmakers have made significant amendments to a monster transportation funding bill. The gas tax will still increase, but only once, and it won't be indexed to inflation. The changes also eliminate the vehicle transfer tax and reduce the size of some DMV hikes. And the payroll transit tax hike remains unchanged, and so does a choice for EV drivers to pay per mile. A public hearing and work session is scheduled for today. In the meantime, the Metro Council's president, Lynn Peterson, is less than optimistic about the state of Portland. Peterson's comments at a city club event reflect the homeless crisis and large budget deficits at the city and county levels.
So what's the state of our region? If I'm being diplomatic, I could call it non-ideal. If I'm being frank, it is in critical condition. Since the last state of the region, we have had a drumbeat of stories about an economic doom loop. We have seen the number of unsheltered homeless rise despite tireless efforts from our counties and cities.
Yesterday, remarks come a day after Portland's regional government indicated it won't put an extension of the homeless services tax on this year's ballot. If the tax isn't extended, it will end in 2030. Right now, high-income earners across the Tri-County area pay that tax.
Multnomah County's Health Department and the OHSU-PSU School of Public Health are officially joining forces. It's being called a first-of-its-kind academic partnership. The school is located in the Vanport building on the Portland State campus, but public health efforts will often take place outside the classroom in the community.
It's that meshing together of what we research and what we teach and what we do in practice, and that's a huge gain for our students and our faculty.
This collaboration is really a win-win for everyone. It has mutual benefits in teaching, in research, in preparing students for the real-life challenges that they're going to face.
Leaders from both sides of the partnership say some collaboration is already underway. Can we talk a little music this morning here on the Sunrise Show? What do you say, China?
Let's do it.
All right, talking music. Tickets now on sale for the PDX Live Music Festival, which is coming back to Pioneer Courthouse Square this August. This is a live look at the square in downtown Portland this morning. Come August, those bricks will be covered with music fans. And the artists in the lineup are expected to include The Roots. From the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon right to Pioneer Courthouse Square, The Roots are coming this August. By the way, you can find tickets for this at PDX-live.com. Rod Hill, can I put you on the spot?
I like the big guy that plays, I think he's the drummer on that.
Oh, yeah, no, the Roots are fantastic.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to put you on the spot, though.
Yes,
Clear your mind.
Yeah.
Empty your mind. Oh, it's already empty. Great. So here we go. If you could bring one musical artist from the past or the present to this event in downtown Portland this summer, who would you bring, Rod?
You know who pops into my mind? I believe he's alive but retired and certainly getting up there. Doc Severinsen. So we'll stick with the Tonight Show theme.
Of all the musicians in the history of the earth.
I don't know, Doc.
You're bringing Doc Severinsen to the... Okay.
You said my mind was empty, which means it can only hold
Thank
one
you, Rod, for playing.
topic. And you brought up the Tonight Show, so then my mind stayed with the Tonight Show.
Never mind the Beatles. We're bringing Doc Severinsen.
I like Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think they still get out and do some music, by the way. Here's the Coast Cam up in Gerhard. You're by the Sea Resort, and you're looking down. It looks like it's dry on the roads, the beach. Never saw Tillamook Head yesterday in the morning hours, but there's the base of Tillamook Head. Looks like some misty weather. Of course, Seaside's tucked in right there. Good morning to you folks. But, you know, even at the beach, it's a little of a brighter cloudy start than what we've had. Here's the Reserve Vineyards Golf Club in Aloha. There's actually some brightness with a higher cloud deck. All dry, 59 degrees. Here are the temperatures under cloudy skies and dry weather and light winds out the door. It's pleasant. A lot of 57s, including Sherwood, Taggart, West Lynn. Good morning. Including Gresham, Camas, Sandy. Good morning. Anybody else? 57s? Nope. 55 in Salem. Good morning to you, by the way. Cloudy skies over our state capital this morning. So Futurecast still holds the clouds with us like yesterday all morning into the afternoon hours and really much of the day. There is certainly the chance of some patchy drizzle developing, especially over at the coast. But so far this morning, it's certainly a drier, not as dark of a cloudy morning as what we saw. We will get out of these clouds, I think, that you saw in Futurecast tomorrow afternoon, or at least see partial clearing start to take hold. So this afternoon, I mean, really comfortable weather to be out recreating, especially if you have to work outdoors. This is really comfortable stuff, right? I know it's a touch humid, but we'll only get up to about 70 or so in the valley, about 60 at the beach. And then not bad with the sun, low 80s in Bend, Madras, John Day, and Burns, and LeGrand. Still very comfortable weather, so enjoy. Here's the 7-day forecast. Partial clearing coming tomorrow, so we'll go 70 today, 75 tomorrow. And then the warm up is on. I have lowered Saturday. I had it 84, 81, so that's still pretty comfortable. But we're up to 90 on Sunday, 94 on Monday, so plan accordingly on these 2 days. And then there's a gradual cool down, it looks like, into the mid part of next week, and that is your 7-day forecast.